All right, so today we're going to dive into something pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah.
And that is the idea that, like, what we write down can shape the reality that we experience.
Yeah,
So, like, our words actually have power over the world around us.
definitely.
And we're going to be talking about scripting today,
Yes.
which is the practice of writing about your desires and goals
Yeah.
as if they have already come to pass.
Yeah, it might sound a little unconventional, but as we sort of unpack the principle behind it and look at how this is approached, you'll
Yeah.
find it's a fascinating intersection between like how our minds work and the potential for focused intention.
Oh, right.
So the goal today is to give you a solid understanding of what scripting is, explore some of the mechanisms behind it, and ultimately help you decide if this is something that might be valuable for you.
Okay, so let's just jump right in.
Yeah.
When we talk about scripting, what exactly are we talking about? Like, how is this different from just making a mental note of something that you want?
Well, the core of scripting really lies in actively writing about your life as if your desired outcomes are already your present reality.
Sure.
And the crucial elements here are using the present tense and really embodying the feelings
Yeah.
associated with already having achieved what you desire.
Got it.
So instead of say like, future aspiration like I hope to earn more money,
Right.
a scripting approach would be something like I am so grateful now that I consistently earn a comfortable income of X amount each month through work that I find fulfilling and enjoyable.
Right.
I feel financially secure and appreciate the abundance in my life.
Yeah.
So you can see the shift.
Yeah.
It's immediate, it's experiential, it's happening now in the narrative you create.
Yeah, it's not a future wish.
Exactly.
It's like you're already there.
You're stepping into the shoes of the person who's already achieved it
Right.
through the act of writing.
Okay, so then why does this work? I mean, what's the thinking behind this practice leading to real-world changes?
Well, this is where some compelling ideas come into play.
Okay.
One of the key concepts often discussed is the reticular activating system,
Oh, sure.
or the RAS.
RDS, good.
Think of your RAS like a filter for your brain.
Okay.
It's constantly sifting through the massive amount of information that you're exposed to daily
Right.
and prioritizing things that align with your current focus, your beliefs,
Yeah.
your intentions.
So it filters out the stuff that's not important to you and focuses on what is.
Precisely.
Okay.
So when you consistently script your goals as if they're already a reality,
Yeah.
you're essentially giving your RAS a very clear set of instructions.
Okay.
It starts to actively look for and highlight opportunities, resources, and even coincidences in your environment that might help bring those scripted scenarios to life.
So it's like, you know how sometimes you learn a new word and then you start seeing it everywhere?
Yeah.
It's like that, but for like life goals.
Exactly. It's like you're priming your brain
Yeah.
to be on the lookout for things that are relevant to what you've written down.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And this is where I think the idea of neuroplasticity also comes in.
Absolutely.
The brain's ability to like rewire itself.
Our brains are not fixed entities. They are constantly adapting and rewiring themselves
Right.
based on our experiences, our thoughts, and our actions.
Okay.
So the repeated act of writing about a desired future in a vivid, present tense way
Yeah.
can actually help to create new neural pathways in your brain.
Interesting.
And these pathways can make it easier for you to think, feel, and behave in ways that are congruent with the reality you're scripting.
So you're not just changing what you pay attention to.
Right.
You're changing your brain
You're potentially reshaping your very brain structure.
to support these new realities.
Yeah. Think about learning a new skill, like playing an instrument or speaking a new language.
Yeah.
You're strengthening specific neural connections over time
Through practice.
through consistent practice. Exactly.
Okay.
Scripting can be seen as a mental practice that similarly reinforces those neural pathways associated with your desired outcomes.
Okay. So we've talked about the RAS, we've talked about neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
And then there's also the idea of the law of attraction
Yes.
and this concept of aligning your frequency.
Right.
So how does scripting fit into that?
Well, this delves into a more metaphysical understanding, often associated with scripting.
Okay.
The law of attraction, in essence, suggests that, that the dominant thoughts and feelings we hold emit a certain energetic signature
Okay.
or frequency.
Mhm.
And we tend to attract experiences and circumstances that resonate with that frequency.
Right?
So from this viewpoint, when you script in the present tense,
Yeah.
infused with positive emotions as if you already have your desires,
Mm-hmm.
you are aligning your own energetic state
Right.
with the presumed frequency of that reality.
So like tuning a radio dial.
Exactly.
You have to be on the right frequency to hear the station.
Precisely. You need to match the frequency of the receiver to the frequency of the station to hear the music clearly.
Got it.
So the idea is that by emotionally embodying your desired reality in your scripting,
Yeah.
you're tuning your energetic frequency to match the frequency of that reality, making it more likely to manifest.
Okay, so we're talking about a combination of tangible psychological mechanisms, like how our brain filters information and adapts.
Right.
But then also this more abstract idea of like energetic alignment
Yeah, it's a multifaceted approach.
to bringing about what we desire.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, I want to try this scripting thing.
Yeah.
What are the steps that they should take?
The very first step, and this is absolutely crucial, is setting a clear and specific intention.
Okay.
You need to have a well-defined idea of what it is you want to bring into your life.
Right.
Ambiguous desires tend to yield ambiguous results.
So the more specific, the better.
The more detail you can incorporate, the better. For instance, instead of simply writing, I want a better job,
Right.
you would be far more effective scripting something like, I am now working in a dynamic and supportive environment as a tire. Your desired role at specific company or type of company.
Right.
I earn specific salary and feel valued and challenged in my work every day.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot more specific.
The specificity helps to create a much clearer target
Yeah.
for your focus and your subconscious.
Okay, so you paint a very clear picture with your words.
Precisely.
Okay, what's next?
Step 2 is all about the power of writing in the present tense.
Okay, we touched on this a bit earlier.
Yeah, this is fundamental to the practice.
Okay.
You're not documenting what you hope will happen someday.
Right.
You are articulating what is happening right now.
Okay.
So instead of, I will be more confident,
Yeah.
you would script, I am filled with unwavering confidence in my abilities, and I express myself authentically and assertively in all situations.
Yeah.
This linguistic shift helps to solidify the
Of
feeling
already having it.
of already possessing that quality or outcome.
Okay, makes sense. What's next?
Step 3 involves actively engaging your senses and your emotions in your scripting.
Oh, okay.
Don't just list facts or statements.
Right.
Immerse yourself in the experience you're describing.
Right.
What do you see in this reality you've scripted?
Mm-hmm.
What do you hear? What do you smell?
Okay.
Most importantly, how do you feel?
Right.
The more sensory details and the stronger the positive emotions you can weave into your narrative,
Yeah.
the more real it will feel to you and the more impact it's likely to have.
Makes sense.
For example, instead of, I live in a beautiful house,
Right.
you might write, as I walk through the front door of my beautiful home, sunlight streams through the large windows, illuminating the warm, inviting colors of the decor. I hear the happy laughter of my loved ones, and I feel a deep sense of peace and belonging within these walls.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge difference.
It really brings it to life.
Okay, so engage the senses. What's next?
Step 4 is the incredibly potent practice of cultivating gratitude. Okay.
Gratitude is often considered a powerful emotional state
Yeah.
that can amplify positive outcomes.
Yeah.
So integrate expressions of thankfulness into your scripting.
Okay.
For instance, instead of just, I have fulfilling relationships,
Right.
you could write, I am deeply grateful for the loving and supportive relationships I have with my family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate their presence in my life, and I feel a strong sense of connection and joy in our interactions.
Okay. So it's not just stating the fact that you have them,
Right.
but like appreciating that you have them.
Exactly. Express that gratitude.
Okay. And finally, what's the last step?
The final step is daily reading and visualization.
Oh, okay.
Your script is not meant to be written once and then forgotten.
Right.
You need to engage with it regularly to keep those intentions active in your mind.
Okay.
Make it a habit to read your script aloud every day.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do, really take the time to visualize the scenarios you've described.
Okay.
Feel the emotions as if these things are already your reality.
Many proponents believe that the more consistently you do this, and the stronger your belief in these outcomes becomes,
Yeah.
the more effectively you can influence their manifestation.
So consistency and a strong sense of belief seem to be key here.
Absolutely.
Now, earlier we talked about some real-world examples.
Yes.
Let's talk about Jim Carrey
Yeah.
and his $10 million check.
This is a story that often circulates when discussing the power of intention.
Right.
The anecdote recounts how long before his major Hollywood success, Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered
Wow.
and dated it sometime in the future.
Okay.
He reportedly kept this check in his wallet and would frequently visualize receiving that amount of money for his work.
Okay.
Years later, he indeed earned exactly $10 million
For Dumb and Dumber.
for his role in the movie Dumb and Dumber.
Wow.
While it's anecdotal,
Yeah.
many see it as a powerful illustration of focused intention and visualization aligning with the specific outcome.
It's a good story.
It is.
We also came across an example of someone manifesting their dream job through scripting.
Yes. This was a case of a person who found themselves unemployed
Okay.
and decided to explore scripting as a tool.
Okay.
They focused their writing on vividly describing their ideal job,
Mm-hmm.
a role that offered not only good financial compensation,
Ah.
but also opportunities for travel and personal growth.
Nice.
They diligently wrote each day about how grateful they were for this incredible new job that perfectly aligned with their skills and passions
Wow.
and provided the lifestyle they desired.
That's awesome.
Within a reported time frame of about 3 months, they were hired by a company that seemingly fulfilled all the criteria they had included in their script,
Including the travel?
including the travel component and the desired salary range.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
It's a pretty remarkable story.
It is. And then we also found a story about someone who used scripting for healing.
Yes. This was a particularly compelling narrative about an individual who was facing a significant health challenge.
Oh, wow.
They reportedly incorporated scripting into their overall wellness journey,
Yep.
focusing their writing on affirmations and descriptions of their body as being healthy, strong, and vibrant,
Okay.
and visualizing their cells as being filled with energy and vitality.
So they're really focused on the positive.
Yes, they shifted their focus to the desired state of health.
Okay.
The account suggests that this person experienced a remarkable improvement in their condition,
Really?
and their medical team was reportedly surprised by the speed and extent of their recovery.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's a powerful example of the potential of belief, consistent focus, and the act of scripting.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that these are just stories. These aren't scientific studies or anything like
They
that.
are anecdotal.
But they are pretty inspiring.
They are, and they offer a glimpse into the possibilities.
So what about if someone's trying scripting and they're not really seeing the results that they want?
Yeah.
What are some of the mistakes that people make?
Well, there are several common errors that can hinder the effectiveness of scripting.
Okay.
One significant one is engaging in the writing process without genuine emotional investment.
So you're just writing the words, but you're not feeling it.
Exactly. If you're simply going through the motions of writing words without truly feeling the associated excitement, gratitude, or joy of having already achieved your desired outcome, it's less likely to resonate deeply with your subconscious mind
Right.
as something that you truly believe is possible or already real.
Got it.
The key here is to actively try to connect with those positive feelings as you script, to make the experience as emotionally rich and vivid as you can.
Okay, what else?
Another common hurdle is harboring underlying doubt or skepticism about the process itself.
Right.
If you're constantly questioning whether scripting will actually work for you, or if you're filled with disbelief and negative expectations, that can create a conflicting energy that can impede the very outcomes you're hoping to manifest.
Interesting. So like your own doubt can sabotage you?
In a way, yes, the advice here is to try as much as possible to approach the practice with a sense of trust and openness,
Okay.
and to release the need to micromanage exactly how and when your desires will unfold.
Okay, so trust the process.
Trust the process. Let go of the doubt.
All right.
What about consistency? Is that important?
I would imagine so.
Absolutely. Inconsistency in your scripting routine is another common reason why people might not see the results they desire.
Okay.
Like building any new habit or developing a skill. Scripting tends to be most effective when it's practiced regularly and consistently.
Okay.
Sporadic or infrequent scripting might not provide the sustained mental focus needed to reinforce those neural pathways or maintain a strong sense of intention.
Makes sense.
The recommendation is to make it a daily practice,
Yep.
even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
Okay, so just like working out.
Exactly. Consistency is key.
Okay, what's the final mistake?
Finally, a lot of people unintentionally fall into the trap of focusing on what's lacking in their scripting.
Okay.
For instance, writing, "I want to get out of debt," keeps the primary focus on the state of being in debt.
Right, right. You're focused on the negative.
Exactly. A more effective approach is to shift the focus to the desired state of abundance.
Okay.
So instead of, "I want to get out of debt," You might script, I am so grateful for the financial freedom I now experience.
Mm.
My bills are paid easily, and I have more than enough resources to meet my needs and enjoy life.
So flip it around.
Shifting the emphasis from the absence of something to the presence of what you desire is a subtle but incredibly powerful shift in perspective.
Okay, so focus on what you want, not what you don't want.
Exactly.
Okay, so to wrap up,
Yeah,
it seems like scripting is presented as a potentially powerful technique
it is.
that aims to bridge the gap between our thoughts and our reality
Mm,
through focused written expression, emotional engagement with our desires, and consistent practice.
exactly. It's about consciously directing your mental energy and actively participating in shaping your perception of what's possible for you.
So if you're listening to this and you're intrigued,
Yeah.
maybe it's time to give scripting a try.
Pick up a pen, open a blank document, and start scripting your own vision for the future.
And as you do that,
Yeah.
think about this.
Okay.
How might the act of intentionally focusing your written words day after day
Yeah.
not only subtly shift your internal beliefs and expectations, but also perhaps unconsciously guide your actions
Yeah.
in ways that bring you closer to the very realities that you are scripting?
It's a fascinating question to explore in your own life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the time we have for today.
Great talking to you.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.